Yesterday I looked at the changes to Blade Dancer to see if I thought it was an actual nerf or not. Today I wanted to look at Executioner, and this time I've used Heinrichs to go on his own. Now the difference between a Warrior Executioner and a Blade Dancer Executioner is a Blade Dancer Executioner can very much solo the game because it breaks attack economy inherently as it gets kills, whereas a Warrior doesn't quite do that, but with the right gearing and the right allied support, a Warrior can actually do more than a Blade Dancer, but is very gear dependent. So a Blade Dancer at level 1 can basically have all the front-loaded stuff to do what a Warrior needs, like our 100 Act 4 gear. So what I'm doing is I brought Cassie along just to alleviate that, to give some initial buffs so she can activate the Temperis Elite Carapace backpack, because in order to use that you need to have some ballistic skill, which obviously I can't build with weapon skill at the same time on Heinrichs. So what I've done is I've used Cassia to buff up his ballistic skill, and then I'm going to use Heinrichs as a psyker to buff himself to get all of his damage stats up. And so this is going to be some physical stat buffs. I'm going to buff him up with Orchestrate Inflame, and now Inflame can't be used to just click Carnival and then clear the map. But what it can do is it doesn't actually affect the build that I use, which broke the game anyway, and allowed my Blade Dancer to solo one turn, which is stacking multiple docks, doing very high damage, and then obviously using Rock Swords to multi-hit and just keep moving around, flying around the battle, destroying everything. So now that I've got all these little buffs set up, what I have on Heinrichs here is the Inertia Boots, so we can keep generating MP. Well, actually no, that's what I had before. I've now got the Void Veteran Boots. That means kills will generate 3 uses of charge, which means that it is possible to get AP locked. Not AP locked, MP locked, whilst you still have AP. He's got the Warp Surge Brooch to give psi rating attack economy on his first turn, and the Hand of Offense to put some of that psi rating into his base damage. So the more base damage you have, you actually counteract the negative side of the Executioner's Rock Swords, which is that they are low base damage, which can also be done by using Invigorating Resolve of Malpain Shroud. So the way this build works is you stack obscenely high Medicae, which you then turn into damage by armor stripping. The more armor strip you have, the more instances of Medicae that you can apply to increase damage. Now there was a very good item to do this called 4 Points Pride, but that's actually been moved to the end of Act 4, so it's not usable for pretty much any content in the game besides Act 5, because you can't access it until after you finish the final boss of Act 4. So one of the main issues that we're seeing for a lot of the builds and a lot of the characters' items is their quest items come in when there's no content left to do. So yeah, that's a bit of an issue. But as you can see, as I get kills, I'm just ping-ponging around with basically Void Points Pride. Now, I showed that I could actually use this, and I could still one-turn this encounter as a Blade Dancer previously, and that strategy has not changed at all. If you look at my old video, I was using 2 Warp Fire Swords and it still works. I did a little quick test, and I did it, and it was the exact same. It almost looked like the same footage to me, so I wasn't going to rehash that. So I'm doing this with Heinrichs now. Now, one of the mistakes that I've made with this build is I've not equipped him with Grenadier, which means that I can't use that to armor strip the boss here, which is what would allow me to one-shot charge it, and what I've done previously in Heinrichs videos, and if you look at my 1.4 build video, exactly how I one-shotted this boss. So, yeah, it's going to be a little bit different this time, because now that I can't one-shot it, I'll actually need to go in and hopefully just use my normal attack actions here. But it does appear that Warp Surge Brooch does not work on multi-encounter combat. So whilst I'm still on a finest hour turn for Heinrichs, this is now counting as his main turn, and Warp Surge Brooch is not applying. So I'm guessing the fix wasn't quite a fix. However, what I'll do then is essentially Heinrichs' turn got skipped in this, so he didn't actually get to use the Warp Surge Brooch. So because this is a multi-turn encounter, this technically is still round 1 of the same encounter, so I can't bring it down or find the stat hour over to him. Mostly I can't find stat hour because I don't have the momentum. However, so what I'll do is I'll just skip until it comes back around. Yeah, now you can see that this is me doing it raw, because I did not plan for that. If I did that, I would have changed some of the itemization. I probably would have taken off Warp Surge Brooch, because it wouldn't have been useful in this count, and I could have put on something else to help. But anyway, I could have even used the Commissar to make him immune to armor, which would have allowed him to one-shot Daybreak there. Let's just stack up these enemies. I know we shouldn't really be using Kessa. And look, he just kills them as they run away from him. But now we can obviously bring it down to him. And one of the other things I've got on here is obviously we've got Pyromancy where it hurts. So if we swap over to the staff to get a little bit more willpower, I can build up. I could have used Wrath of the Emperor as well, but if we use Hammer, we use where it hurts. We're going to use Firestorm, which will triple stack and do some really big damage anyway. And now we got all these enemies here that we can again move into the middle of. I can just Firestorm again actually. And then that procs fire within, so then I get a free attack, and then, yeah, I can finish off Daybreak. The damage that this is going to do is, yeah, it's going to be absolutely obscene. But I'm not seeing any problems with Executioner. It's still incredibly powerful. The Blade Dance variation can still one-turn this encounter solo, so it is what it is. But yeah, this build of Heinrichs isn't going to be the one that I'm going to be showcasing in the 1.5 build videos, but it is still on the spreadsheet and it has been optimized for 1.5. I'm actually going to be showing off his Demon Summoner build, but yeah, it still works, and I'll see you next time.